Hi, Hanny. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you on here. Now, boy, have I got so many questions. But first and foremost, congratulations. Hell of a two games there. Nice sweep against, nice sweep against MYM there. But I've got to open up, man. Those hero picks, they're kind of weird. They were definitely a little bit different. What was with the Knicks last pick? Just out of curiosity.
The Knicks' last pick? Oh, well, I had different options of heroes that I could have chosen from, and Knicks was more of the early game oriented way to play it, but actually turned out in not an early game. So, kinda didn't expect to go that long with the game, but well, we had Tidehunter with a refresher, so they couldn't push in, and I don't know, they could have just dragged it out in my opinion as well. Like, Naga is gonna get stronger the longer the game takes. But yeah, Nyx overall, I think the hero is really strong. The mana burn is crazy. Like, if you were watching on a mana burn scaling, later on I burned for 650 mana on a Darkseer,
Oh,
and
jeez.
like basically the way I play the hero is that you just go for survivability. You just get yield stagger, force step, items like that, and then you have your 4-second mana burn, and all you do is spam your mana burn.
Okay.
It's really hard to push in because they just run out of mana, even though they had a coddle.
Fair enough. That yeah. Well, that definitely would have hurt him quite a bit, especially if you just kept slamming him with it. Continue on with the picks though. I mean, we don't normally see either Kunkka or Vengeful Spirit. Any particular reason you guys selected both those heroes in game number two?
Okay, well, Vengeful, I think, like from the left support is, has a reliable stun. Like for example, Venomancer was still in the game, but he doesn't have a reliable stun. He can push as well, but Vengeful is a counter to the Enigma as well. So that was one reason. I wanted to somewhat push the tower fast on top, which worked out, and therefore we had the aura Vengeful as well. That's why I got that hero. Why I picked Conquer? There were different options. Like first off, I still had the Asif in mind, but they picked it up. And well, like since the recent patch, like of course not the last one, but the one before, where they changed the ultimate, it became one of my favorite heroes since you can not only just use it for clash, like a team clash, but you literally just use it as soon as it's up. Like you can spam the chip. It has no cooldown, and even if you fail, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be up a second later.
Fair enough then. Okay. All right. And just getting weird. I mean, there were definitely some different item builds. I mean, I noticed Era decided to build a pair of Crystallis. What was with that on his a pair of Crystallis on his Templar Assassin?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think it was more of he felt probably the game was over anyway.
Okay. The only reason I could see someone put forward was it just for the amount that you'd spend, you get a lot higher crit chance. He wasn't really looking for a big crit, just reliable crits. But
I think the only hero that I would actually go for double Crystallis would be Conquer, because you want to have the crit, and you actually don't need the dayless. You just want to have the crit.
okay then.
That would be just came up to my mind. Yeah.
And yeah, the other thing was also the Lincoln Spear on the Conqueror. I thought that was a little weird. I mean, the Lincoln Spear didn't really have a hole to block against their team. I thought, I saw that. I kind of figured, you might be going to a BKB if you want a defensive item against the particular lineup you're against. But
The thing, well, I mean, Lincoln's is always prevent of first spell income. It doesn't matter, of course, they had Panda to just take it off me, but even Drunken Haze is gonna be annoying. Like, there's gonna be some spell, and why I did it is because, as I said, I'm using Conquer to literally just, as soon as my ship is up, I'm gonna go for someone to X mark, and therefore you need a pretty big mana pool. Like, you have mana pools on your team, but it's not enough. Like, you actually need a lot of mana on that hero, and I find Lincoln's was quite like useful in the past games or experience that I had with that hero.
okay, you wouldn't consider like say a sheepstick instead.
Nah, I mean Lincoln's is still like it is still a really good item to prevent people from going on you. Like for example, you know your Lincoln's is down because they just used whatever spell. But then you can still stay passive, and it doesn't take long until it's up again. Like, it's a 20-second cooldown. And for example, let's say Panda splits, you could dodge the Cyclone, for example, as well with that, which is another 8 seconds you're in the air or something like that. I mean, sure, I can go BKB, but then BKB doesn't provide the mana pool, and therefore I wanted to have the Lincolns.
Okay then. Now, looking back on the games, I mean, you really, like, you completely crushed MYM in the second game. Do you think there's anything they could have done different to try and, like, counter the lineup? Because you guys, you played extremely aggressive. You took a lot of early towers. Like you said, you took that early top tower. And then you immediately, like, you grouped up, and I was calling it a bit of a pub train. You were pretty much grouping up as 4 or 5 heroes, and all just pushing together mid, just taking tower after tower after tower. Is there anything you think MYM could have done better to defend against that?
Well, they could have maybe tried to split push better earlier on. I guess, I don't know, like, their lineup it's hard to pull off because they use the Panda as support, and unless you're really good with that hero on a support, I don't think it really excels off that well, like in a game. It really doesn't. Like, it takes a lot of fucking practice to get the hero right
Okay.
as a support. Like,
This is true.
like, if you watch the game, he was desperately trying to get his blink after a while, like on farming on the long lane. He was just farming it up to get the blink. But before that, you don't have to initiate with a blink, so you can't go for the support. You can't take out anyone. Like, the ultimate won't do too much.
Well, it does.
So
Yeah, it does
I
take a
guess
little while to get
it's
in.
more of a lineup thing. But I mean, if they felt confident doing so,
I definitely
yeah.
was a little bit surprised by the Brewmaster in the Woods. I mean, I've seen it exactly once before, and it did not go well.
I mean, I saw one team going for that kind of style. That was MTW. They ran support Panda in strats. They somewhat did it alright, but yeah, like as I mentioned, the dagger is usually the issue. Like, if you get pressured, and that's why I like Conquer, and like that's why I decided to play that way. You have the boat that's 60 seconds cooldown level 1, so you just take any fight you want. Like, it doesn't matter if you miss your first torrent, but if you know your torrent is gonna hit, you can follow up the ship instantly. And even if you miss, it doesn't matter. It's 60 seconds. Like, on our team, the highest cooldown was probably Disruptor Ultimate. So we could fight as much as we wanted to.
And yeah, well, you used that ult extremely well. That caused so many issues for MYM. I'm gonna leave. Actually, that's right. There is one question here from Gamja Tang. He asked about the double refresher. I noticed when you clashed at Roshan, Titan leapt in, popped a Ravage, popped his refresher, and then found himself with no mana. Was that intentional? Like,
Yeah.
you were only looking for one Ravage, and then you just popped it immediately after anyway, just to bring.
No, no, I think he got a. That's what Era told me. He got mana leak before he jumped in.
Ah, okay.
Like, he got mana leak, then he daggered, and then he didn't have the mana for the second Ravage.
No, that would have made sense. I was wondering. I just saw Arrow jump in and looked at him and realized there's no mana on him. He must have been spitting chips then. I'm just double checking up the top, see if there's any extra questions. Doesn't really look like it. But one last question though. Silence. Obviously, Silence has had a bit of a change. I mean, there's only really been one team that's used him in competitive play in the past. That was obviously Natural 9, back when they had Bleak in the lineup. Would use him as a carry in a tri lane. But I mean, do you find him any more competitive after the changes?
I don't know. I think the change, like, he always had that somewhat annoying aura, which made him somewhat stronger as well. I really would have liked if they actually kept the aura and rebuilt his first spell, the curse, because I feel curse is so useless.
Okay then.
Like, that's the spell that kind of breaks him, in my opinion, because he's too weak for a carry, because intelligence 0, no armor. Like, he needs to farm a lot to, like, actually deal damage. And I don't know, like, I guess he's somewhat stronger, sure. He has more damage output, but I don't think it changes the hero in the game. you can pick him up to counter strats. It works. Like silence, the global silence is pretty annoying to deal with, especially if you like have stuff timed with it. Like if you get into the hero, but yeah, like that for example comes only with practice, and then there's so little teams that actually want to practice their hero that he might fades off again. So yeah.
Okay then. Oh, Hanny, thanks for your time. Great interview, and of course, congratulations once again. I'm just double checking when we're going to see you next. But is there any streams or social media you want to plug before you go?
Sure. There is my stream, of course, on own TV. I mean, I can't really say like the channel. It's just the Fnatic one, I guess. I mean, Notel is streaming a lot as well. You can find him always on Join Dota or over Join Dota on the stream list. Same with Era. So yeah, follow these two. I'm not streaming too much, but of course, like if you want to follow me for that reason, I'm on that side as well. Like you will find me over that streaming side for sure.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for your time, Hanny, and good luck. We'll see you again on the 2nd of November. You'll be playing against Pulse then. So, thanks for your time.
Alright.
See you later.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.